Hello, thank you for taking the time to watch our presentation. I'm Bridget, and along with Alana, Lily, Erin, and Donna, we will be talking about Flipkart and their diversification into an unrelated industry. So, to start off, what is Flipkart? Flipkart is an e-commerce company based in Bengaluru, India, that was established in October 2007 by two former Amazon employees. The launch of this platform included a product line of technology called DigiFlip, which consisted of tablets, USB flash drives, laptop bags, and more. Flipkart also offers a huge variety of products and product categories for customers, similar to how Amazon does. They have about 30 million products across multiple categories. Some examples of these products offered are baby care, books, auto accessories, etc. Also, in 2018, Walmart acquired this e-commerce giant. As you can see, this is an image from the home page on the company's website. Across the top, you can see some of the many product categories that are offered to customers that range from fashion to home goods and appliances and even groceries, as well as some individual products down towards the bottom like bedding and razors. The industry our group is looking at is the e-commerce industry. E-commerce is a term used to refer to the sale of physical products online, but it can also describe any kind of commercial transaction that is done through the internet. With this industry doing very well in the past few years due to growth and development of technology. Technological awareness among customers is expected to have a positive impact on market growth. The adoption of smartphones is gaining momentum at a significant rate, which is increasing the exposure of online shopping for customers. Therefore, the growing use of smartphones is projected to propel the market growth for the foreseeable future. Additionally, the global e-commerce market size was valued at a little over 9 trillion US dollars in 2019, and it is expected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 14.7% from 2020 to 2027.
I'll be talking about the market share of Flipkart. According to an article on Bloomberg, Flipkart takes up about 32.1% of the online retail market in India, with other big competitors being Amazon India and Snapdeal. The Indian e commerce market has had slower growth over the past few years, and Forrester expects the online retail market to grow at an annual rate of 29.2% to a market value of 73 billion by 2022.
During the brainstorming stage of this project, our group came across Flipkart's acquisition of Sasta Sundar. After doing some research into this business move, we wanted to take a deeper look into it and the strategic reasoning behind the decision. This has given us a chance to look at how real-life diversifications and acquisitions into unrelated business industries work and how they can be done successfully. My other group members will dive into the specifics of this question, like talking about staying competitive, reaching new market segments, filling any resource gaps, COVID's impact, etc.
We use the TOES analysis to analyze the different aspects of Flipkart so that we can better understand the resource gaps being filled after their acquisition. Some threats include competition from global players such as Amazon and eBay, as well as government regulations that pose a barrier to the growth of the e-commerce industry in India. The opportunities are business expansion and expanding product categories, and these will help Flipkart's weaknesses. Weaknesses of this acquisition are limited distribution. Because of the low cost, the reach is limited compared to global competitors, Amazon, eBay, where they are able to deliver their products to any location in the country. Cost acquisition is also a weakness because Flipkart acquires a large number of customers through online advertising, and the cost of acquisition is high due to stiff competition in the market and low customer retention. Lastly, Flipkart's strengths include exclusive and broad product range and being a large company. Flipkart is India's largest e-commerce company with a gross merchandise value of $1 billion. With this acquisition, Flipkart will be able to use their strength as being India's largest e-commerce company to exploit their opportunities of business and product expansion. Flipkart has pharmaceutical and distribution gaps. They did not have internal resources to enter the pharmaceutical market, so they had to acquire that through Sasta Sundar. Acquiring Sasta Sundar will help expand their e-commerce and online pharmacy, which in turn, the synergies between the two will help grow and transform affordable online healthcare that is easily accessible in India.
One of the first notable questions
questions about this acquisition is, why did Flipkart acquire Sasta Sundar? And the answer that we found to this is that Flipkart needed to acquire an online pharmacy marketplace in order to remain competitive in its current market. Its competitors, including Reliance Retail and Amazon India, had already entered into the healthcare segments over a year before Flipkart did. This means that Flipkart did not have a first mover advantage, so if they didn't acquire Sasta Sundar in a timely manner, they would just continue to fall behind their competition. They needed to acquire this company as a response to their competitors. Consumers' trends are also shifting towards more easily accessible and cheap healthcare, so Flipkart does need to stay up to date on these trends in order to keep its current market base and potentially reach new customer segments. Going off of this, another reason that Flipkart acquired Sasta Sundar was for potential growth opportunities. Throughout the pandemic, consumers have begun to care more and more about affordable healthcare and ways to easily access it. Currently, e-pharmacies account for less than 5% of the pharma market, and its scope for growth is very high, with increasing awareness, digital penetration, and increasing comfort with online transactions in other categories. This means that there is major room for growth in the e-pharmacy market, so by acquiring a firm in this market, Flipkart has the potential to see significant growth in the coming years. Sasta Sundar was also valued at $125 million when it was acquired, so it was a very valuable company before this future growth. So Flipkart is expecting to see some major revenue coming out of this acquisition. I will now pass it off to Lily, who is going to talk more about the financial side of the acquisition.
When Flipkart entered part of the healthcare sector through their majority stake acquisition of Sasa Sunder that cost $100 million, they made a decision during a time when demand for healthcare has been increasing, and it will be projected to increase during a period of uncertainty with COVID-19 and variants in the future. More people are willing to venture into e commerce and avoid stores in person among rising variant fears. When it comes to the Indian healthcare industry, the overall industry is set to grow at a 17% compounded annual growth rate into a value of $353 billion by fiscal year 2025. Sasa Sunder's net sales totaled to 213,000 by the end of quarter 2 in fiscal year 2022 and is projected to grow by 12.3% annually, while Flipkart generated $4.62 billion in revenue during fiscal year 2020. Although it will not be easy for Flipkart to enter the e-pharmacy sector due to regulatory hurdles, the eventual synergies of these two firms will help transform online healthcare in India once they penetrate into the market.
I think it is important to stress the overall strategy behind this move. I think it is overall a very smart move, but there exists some pros and cons. There is an adjustment period to understand the processes of the pharmaceutical industry. However, this acquisition only applies to business to consumer, so Flipkart already knows that industry of delivering products to people directly, not to businesses always. So I feel like they'll be able to learn very fast, maybe compared to other smaller competitors. The acquisition is definitely doable since they're involved in e-commerce. They'll just need to learn as they go. I think it is important to assess how having to pick up items at pharmacies themselves is kind of starting to become a way of the past. COVID has really contributed to this. People are less likely to go out and more likely to order things directly to their house, whether it be groceries or online shopping, as well as day-to-day, if you're going to a doctor, you will have a telemedicine appointment. You're not going in person. So a lot of companies need to shift their ways of thinking to the more virtual environment, and Flipkart is very smart to take advantage of this and have market survival, honestly, and expand their product offering. Convenience is very key when it comes to providing for the customer's needs. In all, their goal is to become a full-service megastore. So by acquiring Sesta Sundar, they're able to achieve this more so, and will probably continue to acquire companies as long as they are able to meet their consumers' needs.
Yes, Flipkart should stay in the pharmaceutical market because this acquisition will be successful. With growing awareness and focus on health heightened by the COVID-19 pandemic, there is a large opportunity and demand for affordable healthcare and ancillary offerings. Additionally, because of the pandemic, an increasing number of people are buying products online and avoiding visiting the stores due to fears of catching the virus. This online pharmaceutical market will allow individuals to obtain any medical care they need safely in the comfort of their home. There is also low competition, with e-pharmacies only accounting for less than 5% of the pharma market, putting Flipkart at the top of the competitive market. Regarding any trade-offs and limitations, there will be high costs to provide medication through an online pharma marketplace, but in turn the profits will be high. There are also many rules and regulations by the government limiting the e-pharmacy. This can make it very difficult to obtain and supply medication.
I think overall we see a room for growth in the pharmaceutical industry, and this recent acquisition will only expand the target audience of the business-to-consumer marketplace for pharmaceuticals, and this includes more of a virtual environment, more where people are getting deliveries to their house versus having to go in person. I feel like there will be an overall shift in the medical industry where things become more virtual. And the e-health sector, it just holds many opportunities for the future. With COVID happening and more variants arising, it is very unpredictable. So to have more virtual capabilities is very important. But it's not an easy sector to penetrate because there are regulatory hurdles between online and offline pharmacies. There's certain things and capabilities that they cannot currently do, but they will have to learn and grow as they experience things.